7 weeks after Queen Alexandra died at Sandringham in 1925, her family gathered on a mild Saturday morning in Norfolk to divide her legendary jewellery collection. Alexandra had died without a formal will. No legal document, no solicitors reading out instructions in some dusty office. Instead, she left something far more intimate and precise, a photographic inventory of her jewels, each piece carefully annotated in her own handwriting with the name of who should receive it. Queen Mary described the task as interesting but sad. But what she didn't say, what the palace never revealed, was just how strategic, how deliberate, and how emotionally complex Alexandra's final wishes truly were. Because this wasn't just about distributing diamonds. This was about legacy, about family bonds, about ensuring her treasures would continue to tell stories long after she was gone. Today, we're going to trace that secret map and discover where Alexandra's most magnificent jewels ended up and why some of those choices still matter today. Before we begin this journey, let me tell you what we're really looking at here. Queen Alexandra didn't just own beautiful things. She was one of the most influential style icons of her era, a woman who turned a childhood scar into a global fashion trend, who stacked chokers and necklaces with such artistry that women across 2 continents copied her every move. Her collection was vast. Tiaras that caught light like captured stars, necklaces that cascaded down her décolleté in rivers of diamonds, pieces that connected her to her Danish homeland and her Russian sister, jewels that marked every milestone of her long life as Princess of Wales and then Queen. But what happened to all of it? That's the question that has fascinated royal jewellery lovers for a century. On that January morning in 1926, King George V and Queen Mary walked from York Cottage to Sandringham House. They were joined by 2 of Alexandra's 3 daughters, Princess Victoria and Queen Maud of Norway. Notably absent was the Princess Royal, Louise, who had chosen to stay in London, increasingly reclusive after years in her mother's shadow. Using Alexandra's photographic inventory with its handwritten notes, they sorted the jewels into 5 categories. 1 piece designated as an heirloom of the crown, and the rest divided among Queen Mary, the Princess Royal, Princess Victoria, and Queen Maud. What makes this story so compelling is that we can trace these jewels forward through time. Some still sparkle on royal heads today. Others vanished into private collections or were transformed into something new. And a few, well, their stories will break your heart. Let's start with the piece that Queen Mary had coveted from the very first moment she saw it. The diamond Kokoshnik. In 1888, a committee of aristocratic ladies, led by the Marchioness of Salisbury, wife of the Prime Minister, pooled their resources to give Alexandra a silver wedding anniversary present. When they asked what she wanted, Alexandra pointed to the Kokoshnik tiaras worn by her sister, Empress Marie Feodorovna of Russia. Garrard created a masterpiece, more than 400 diamonds set in white and yellow gold, designed to create a lovely halo effect around the wearer's head. At the anniversary dinner that followed, a young Princess Mary of Teck, the future Queen Mary, wrote to her aunt specifically mentioning the lovely diamond-spiked tiara that Alexandra had received. You can almost hear the longing in those words. 5 years later, when Mary married Alexandra's second son, George, Alexandra wore the Kokoshnik to the wedding. Imagine Mary, the bride, looking up at her new mother-in-law wearing the very tiara she'd admired for years. So when Alexandra's jewellery was divided in 1926, it's no surprise that Mary inherited the Kokoshnik. She treasured it until her own death, when she bequeathed it to her granddaughter, Elizabeth II. And here's where the story becomes beautifully current. The tiara now belongs to King Charles III and was worn spectacularly by Queen Camilla at the Qatar State Banquet in December 2024, the first public appearance in 9 years. After nearly 140 years, Alexandra's anniversary gift continues to create that same lovely halo effect, just on different royal heads. The wedding pearls. Before the Kokoshnik, there was another grand tiara in Alexandra's collection, the convertible diamond tiara that Bertie gave her as a wedding gift in 1863. It could be worn with interchangeable elements, stars, knots, and fleur-de-lis designs placed atop its diamond base. But this piece tells a sadder story. After Alexandra's death, it went to her second daughter, Princess Victoria. And here's where we need to talk about Victoria's life, because it explains so much about what happened next. Victoria never married. She spent her entire life as her mother's companion, prevented from pursuing her own happiness, living in Alexandra's considerable shadow. When Alexandra died, Victoria was already in her 50s, unmarried, without children, and facing an uncertain financial future. In his 2012 book, The Queen's Diamonds, Sir Hugh Roberts revealed that Victoria had disposed of the tiara before her death in 1935. She sold it. And while that might seem shocking, a royal selling a wedding gift from a future king, it's actually deeply human. Victoria needed the money, and she had no heirs to pass it to. But let's turn to something that survived: the wedding pearls. The parure that Bertie commissioned from Garrard's included a necklace, earrings, and a brooch with pendants. Alexandra wore all three pieces on her wedding day in March 1863, and she continued to wear them throughout her life with remarkable creativity. She would sometimes remove individual pearl clusters from the necklace to wear as a series of brooches. Most dramatically, she scattered these clusters on the dramatic standing collar of her coronation gown in 1902, creating a breathtaking display of jewels that perfectly captured her innovative approach to jewellery. After her death, all the pearl pieces went to Queen Mary. She later gave the necklace to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who had it lengthened in 1937. The earrings and brooch went to Queen Elizabeth II. Today, all the pieces are reunited in the main collection, with the necklace most recently appearing on Catherine, Princess of Wales, at the Dutch state banquet in 2018. From Alexandra's wedding day in 1863 to Catherine's elegant appearance 155 years later, that's the power of jewellery that transcends generations. The Dagmar necklace. Now we come to perhaps the most spiritually significant piece in Alexandra's entire collection. When she married in 1863, King Frederick VII of Denmark gave her something extraordinary: a necklace featuring a replica of the 11th or 12th century Dagmar cross. But this wasn't just a beautiful copy. Frederick had the replica created to contain a fragment of wood said to be from the true cross and a scrap of silk from the grave of King Canute. This was a reliquary, a sacred object, as much as it was a piece of jewellery. The necklace itself is spectacular: 118 pearls and 2,000 diamonds in festoons connecting gold medallions. Garrard altered it when it arrived in London, making components detachable so Alexandra could wear parts separately. Alexandra designated this as an heirloom of the crown, meaning it would pass from monarch to monarch. She wore the complete piece on at least 2 dramatic occasions, dressed as Mary, Queen of Scots, for the Waverley Ball in 1871 and for her coronation in 1902. The necklace passed through the hands of Queen Mary, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, and Queen Elizabeth II. But here's something fascinating. Elizabeth II typically removed the Dagmar cross when she wore the necklace. Was it too sacred, too heavy with religious symbolism for a state dinner? We may never know her reasoning. Today, the complete necklace, with the Dagmar cross, is on display at the Edwardians Age of Elegance exhibition at the King's Gallery, Buckingham Palace. And there's a touching postscript to this story. Since Alexandra's wedding, replicas of the Dagmar cross have become traditional baptism or confirmation gifts for girls in Denmark. Her influence reaches across generations and borders. The Collier Résil. In 1904, Queen Alexandra commissioned something unique from Cartier, a diamond necklace that resembled a fishnet, wrapping snugly around the neck and cascading down the décolleté. The Collier Résil, French for fishnet collar, was a masterpiece of design. Originally, it was worn with detachable ruby and emerald drops taken from jewels given to Alexandra by Indian Maharajas. This detail adds such exotic intrigue, gifts from Indian royalty transformed into Parisian haute joaillerie. After inheriting the necklace, Queen Mary had it altered, replacing the ruby and emerald pendants with diamonds. She loved pairing it with the diamond Kokoshnik she'd also inherited from Alexandra, creating what you might call an Alexandra-themed parure. In portraits from the mid-1930s, she suspended the marquise-cut Cullinan 6 diamond from the necklace, adding even more drama. But here's the mystery. The necklace hasn't been seen in public since Queen Mary's death in 1953. For over 70 years, this Cartier masterpiece has remained in the royal vaults, presumably waiting for the right moment, the right occasion, the right royal to bring it back into the light. The Norwegian Jewels. Several pieces from Alexandra's collection took a different journey entirely. They crossed the North Sea to Norway. Alexandra's youngest daughter, Maud, became Queen of Norway in 1905, and the jewels she inherited from her mother remain in the Norwegian royal collection today, worn by Queen Sonja and Princess Astrid. Let's start with the diamond pendant earrings. These originally came from a grand diamond necklace that Alexandra wore stacked with other jewels to cover the scar on her neck. She notably wore this necklace for the 1905 wedding of her niece, Princess Margaret of Connaught, to the future King of Sweden, an occasion when she wanted to, as the sources put it, flex her royal position. Queen Maud inherited these pendants, and today they're worn by Queen Sonja of Norway, often paired with Queen Josefina's diamond tiara. It's wonderful to see how these pieces have become part of Norwegian royal tradition. Then there's the turquoise circlet. King Edward VII gave Alexandra a diamond and turquoise tiara as a birthday present shortly after the 1902 coronation. This Indian-inspired circlet went to Queen Maud, who already had coordinating turquoise and diamond jewellery, including a tiara topped with diamond and turquoise clusters. The turquoise circlet passed to Maud's granddaughter, Princess Astrid, who still wears it today. Astrid has stated that she intends for these pieces to return to the Norwegian royal vaults after her death, ensuring they remain part of Norway's royal heritage. After King Edward VII's death in 1910, Alexandra commissioned a diamond circlet from Carrington for her personal use, the regal circlet. In 1913, she wore it with Queen Victoria's small diamond crown for her granddaughter's wedding. The circlet featured detachable topper elements, including Maltese crosses and fleur-de-lis designs. Later, Alexandra had the fleur-de-lis ornaments permanently removed and gave them away as gifts to friends. The remaining circlet and crosses went to Queen Maud. Today, Queen Sonja wears the piece in various configurations, sometimes the base alone as a bandeau tiara, sometimes with the crosses on a slender tiara frame. It's a perfect example of how versatile Alexandra's jewellery was designed to be. And then there's the diamond ellipse choker. One of Alexandra's most modern and unusual jewels was this diamond choker necklace with an interlocking ellipse design, worn with black velvet backing. She wore it for portraits with her sister, Empress Marie Feodorovna, in 1907. This choker also went to Queen Maud, and Queen Sonja has worn it numerous times for Nobel Peace Prize gala dinners in Oslo. From Alexandra's neck in 1907 to Queen Sonja's appearances at one of the world's most prestigious events, that's quite a journey. The disappeared jewels. Not all of Alexandra's jewels survived intact, and some of these losses tell us as much about royal life as the pieces that endured. We've already mentioned Princess Victoria's wedding gift tiara, which she disposed of before her death. But there were other significant losses from her inheritance. The Russian sapphires, diamond and sapphire cabochon clusters from Alexandra's close relationship with her sister, Empress Marie Feodorovna, could be worn as a necklace or affixed to a tiara. Alexandra memorably wore the tiara setting for Princess Louise's 1889 wedding to the Duke of Fife. The sapphires went to Princess Louise, the Princess Royal, in 1926. 5 years later, when Louise died, her daughter Maud inherited them and wore the amethyst setting to the 1937 coronation. But after Maud's death, the sapphire and amethyst jewels were sold at Christie's in 1946. These sales weren't acts of carelessness or disrespect. They were economic necessities for royal women who didn't have the financial resources of the main line. It's a reminder that not everyone in the royal family had unlimited wealth, and sometimes beautiful things had to be sacrificed for practical survival. The Gloucester Suite. There's one more significant piece from Alexandra's collection that deserves our attention: what became known as the Gloucester Pearl and Emerald Suite. The long-held story is that its components came from a magnificent Indian necklace belonging to Queen Alexandra, a wedding gift from Queen Victoria in 1863 featuring rows of pearls, emeralds and glittering pendants. When it passed to Queen Mary, she saw it with her famously practical eye and decided to reimagine it. The great Indian necklace was carefully dismantled, and its pearls and emerald beads were given new life as two more wearable, elegant necklaces. In 1935, she gave these, along with a magnificent coordinating brooch set with 5 large emerald drops, to Princess Alice for her wedding to the Duke of Gloucester. However, some keen-eyed observers have noted that the pearls in photographs of Queen Alexandra's necklace appear smaller than the substantial ones we see the Duchess of Gloucester wear today. This has led to an alternative theory, that these pearls and emeralds might have come from another grand jewel that Queen Mary also dismantled. Regardless of their exact origin, these pieces remain in the Gloucester collection today, worn by the current Duchess, Birgitta. They're a living connection to Alexandra's era, even if their exact journey is still debated. So, what does Alexandra's secret jewel map tell us, a century after that mild Saturday morning in Norfolk? It tells us that she understood something profound about legacy. She knew that jewelry isn't just about beauty or value. It's about connection, about memory, about ensuring that the people you love carry something of you forward into the future. Some of her choices were practical. The heirloom of the crown designation for the Dagmar necklace ensured it would always remain with the monarchy. Some were generous, giving her daughters pieces that would help establish their own royal identities in Britain and Norway. And some were deeply personal, the careful annotations in her own handwriting, making sure each person knew they were thought of, remembered, loved. Today we can see Alexandra's influence everywhere. When Queen Camilla wears the Kokoshnik, when Catherine appears in the wedding pearls, when Queen Sonja chooses the ellipse choker for a Nobel dinner, Alexandra is there. Not as a ghost, but as a presence, a reminder that true style and genuine grace transcend time. The jewels she left behind aren't just beautiful objects. They're a map of relationships, of family bonds, of a woman who understood that the greatest gift you can give is ensuring that those who come after you have something beautiful to inherit. Which of Alexandra's jewels would you most love to see worn again? And on whom? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through Queen Alexandra's legacy, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. There are so many more stories waiting to be told, so many more jewels whose secrets we've yet to uncover. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.